Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about The Sims 4 Lovestruck gameplay features and if it's worth your money. So starting with cast, we have of course the new clothing, we have 2 new eyelashes, all of the cast stuff. But then we have the turn-ons and turn-offs that you can choose in your Sims likes and dislikes. So there's different categories for your turn-ons and turn-offs. Some of them is related to traits, another category is related to skills. We also have hair color, which is nice. And then we have clothes color, which is a bit unnecessary, and I think it only messes up the game. There's already a mod to fix that, so if you can download mods, please do, because when I was playing the game, it really annoyed me that some Sims were unattracted to me because of the color that I was wearing. And I think it just doesn't make any sense. The other turn-ons and turn-offs are quite nice. The only annoying things that we don't have a lot of physical features, but then now we have the mod to fix that. And then we have the traits. We have the love bug trait and the romantically reserved trait. The traits are actually nice. When I was playing, I did feel a difference in my gameplay with them. Love bug not so much, but with romantically reserved, it was almost challenging to play with it, so it was good, and I felt like it gave more personality to my sim because it makes romance a little bit different if you have the romantically reserved. Your sim is going to be more reserved when it comes to romance, if that makes sense. So like some interactions, they need to get to know the sim better before you can use those interactions. Now moving on to Cupid's Corner, the dating app. So I think the idea behind Cupid's Corner is really good, but in my opinion there were some missed opportunities there. So basically in Cupid's Corner you can see a selection of Sims that will match with your sim, and then you can decide to save them or not to your contacts list. And then you get to choose 2 traits to show in your profile. You can change your profile picture. But that was very annoying when I tried to play with it, when I just decided to take a selfie with my phone, not using the Cupid's Corner app. As soon as I took my selfie, it just opened the Cupid's Corner app and it changed my picture when I didn't even want to do that. So that is a bit annoying because sometimes I just like to take pictures of my Sims and I don't want to change my profile picture in Cupid's Corner. Does that make sense? So I thought that was very annoying. And I wish I could still take selfies normally without having to change the Cupid's Corner picture. So keep that in mind when you play with it. So another thing that you're able to do with Cupid's Corner, or at least you should be able to do with Cupid's Corner, is to import Sims from your gallery. And in my experience, that did not work. I did get Sims from the gallery, but it was just random Sims. When you open the settings, you can choose to see only your favorite households and your gallery to show up in Cupid's Corner. And I tried doing that, but it did not work for me. I just kept getting random Sims and I did not see one Sim that was from my favorites. So that didn't work, and I thought that was a bit annoying because I kept getting Sims that I didn't like and I kept getting random ugly Sims and tracks. So that was very annoying. So in the end I just disabled it, which is a shame because if you could only see Sims that you have in your favorites, that would have been really good. So I hope they fix that. And another thing with Cupid's Corner that I wish they could have done is like a messaging system. I know we have Social Bunny, but I just wish we could do that in Cupid's Corner. So in Cupid's Corner you can create a date, and I wish we could do that through texting. Does that make sense? If you could send a text to a Sim asking to create a date, or maybe just to get to know them a little bit better. I don't know, I just wish we could exchange messages in Cupid's Corner, a little bit like Social Bunny, but maybe better, I don't know. But that's not the case. You can only see Sims and create dates with them. And then when you decide to create a date, you can pick different activities. You have to select at least 3 activities. And I was a bit annoyed when I saw the activities because I just think there are so many different things they could have added as activities and it's not there, and I just feel like there's not enough. Especially with cross-pack, we only have I think like 3 different activities that are cross-pack, and it's ice skating and snow activities And I forgot what the other one was, but it just didn't make sense. Oh yeah, the animals. So you could interact with animals. So there's so many different packs in the Sims with so many different activities, and I just wonder why it wasn't added in the activities. I just wish we could do more things in our dates, like watching a movie. I know that TV is an option, but if you have a movie hangout, then you can actually watch films with your date. So I was a bit disappointed because I wish we had a lot more activities, but I'm sure some creator, some wonderful mod creator is going to give us more activities to do in our dates. But anyway, you choose your 3 activities and then you choose where your date is going to be. So in the world that comes with Lovestruck, there's only 3 different community lots, I think. It's a lounge, a nightclub, and a gym. So I just wish we had more places to have our dates. And now let's talk about the date itself. So when you go to a date, if I can give you an advice, is be very careful with what activities you pick, because some activities, the Sims just get stuck in those activities and then you can't interact with them anymore. So there's another bug that I hope gets fixed. Dancing, it's possible that your date is going to start dancing and will never stop, and then you won't be able to interact with them anymore, and then that's your date ruined. So be mindful when you pick your activities. So when Lovestruck was being advertised, we were told that our dates were not going to be interrupted, but when I was playing, my dates were still interrupted, and sometimes it was very annoying because I would get in a conversation with 5 Sims and it was really hard to interact with my date. So that was very annoying, and yes, I still got interrupted. Less often, but I still got interrupted and still was annoying, but it is better. Another thing that I found really annoying is that when I was out in a date, that by the way, with that bloody gallery, I created a date with a girl called Poppy, and then when she came to the date, I found out that she was a stripper, and I was really shocked because that is not what I had in mind, so I think I was catfished by the gallery. So Poppy the stripper came and we start talking, and after I performed one mischief interaction, she left, and I got a notification saying that after so many mean and mischievous interactions, she was annoyed and she didn't want to carry on with the date, but it was literally one interaction. I honestly don't think that should have happened, especially because in the notification it said after so many mean and mischievous interactions she decided to leave, but it was actually after one interaction. So that annoyed me a little bit. So with the 3 different types of dates, you can choose a get to know date, a romantic date, I believe, and the other one, I tested the first 2. So get to know, your main goal is to interact, to socialize with your date, and the romantic date, the main goal is to do 10 romance interactions. So I think that's nice to have different types of dates and that the goals are different. So now with The Sims 4 Lovestruck, all the Sims NPCs, they are able to interact with your Sim and ask to be partners, to propose to your Sim, which is really nice, and I think it gives more life. It makes the NPCs look more alive, the other townies NPCs, it makes them more alive, and I think it makes it more immersive. So when I was playing, a Sim asked my Sim to become partners, and I said yes, and the animation actually showed up, which is really cute. I was a bit worried that it was only going to change the status, but the animation actually happens and you can see the other Sim asking your Sim to become partners. So I thought that was a really good addition. The only thing that worried me a bit is that it was on my first date with that Sim. They asked to become partners on the first date, and only after a few interactions, only after a few hours, they were already asking me to become partners. So that annoyed me a little bit. I wish it wasn't that quick. But anyway, we are going to talk a little bit about the gameplay issues later in this video. So let's focus on the other features before we talk about the issues, although I'm already talking about them. So now the other Sims can also break up with you, just like they can ask and propose to your Sims, they can also break up with you. So we have romantic boundaries now, and you can choose if your Sim gets jealous and what triggers jealousy. So you can do that in CAS, you can choose the romantic boundaries, and it actually affects gameplay. I did think that was a bit confusing, and it took me a while to understand each section and each question, but in the end, if you read it carefully, you can understand it, and then you can choose your Sim's boundaries. And then in gameplay, if you break a Sim's boundaries, they might consider breaking up with you, and if you keep breaking their boundaries, they will eventually break up with you. You will get notifications that a Sim is thinking of breaking up with you, so it's 100% avoidable. Another gameplay feature is that now we have romantic satisfaction, so that is how much a Sim is satisfied in their romantic relationship, and you can raise or lower your romantic satisfaction by performing actions that your Sim likes. So if your Sim likes to flirt, every time that you flirt with your partner, your romantic satisfaction is going to go up. And every time you do something that your Sim doesn't like, the romantic satisfaction is going to go down. It is a bit confusing at first when I started playing. It took me a while to kind of get the hang of it. And it can be quite annoying if you and your partner have different preferences when it comes to relationships. So like my Sim was dating a Sim that did not like physical intimacy, and my Sim liked physical intimacy. So it was hard to keep them both satisfied. So I think that's a good addition. It makes more realistic, and I like that. We also have now romantic relationships dynamics. We have romance dynamics. If you have growing together, you already understand a little bit of that system. So now you can have, I think it's 4 different types of dynamics, and they will affect gameplay a little bit. It's really just, it just works exactly the same as the growing together family dynamic. So all the small gameplay features that we got with Lovestruck is the woohoo game, the romantic blanket, and the costume trunk. So starting with the game, when you play that with another Sim, you find out more characteristics of the other Sim. When I was playing that, I found out a different trait and different skills that the other Sim was good at. It makes the game more fun and more meaningful, so I liked the game. I had fun playing with it. I thought it was interesting. Then moving on to the romantic blanket, it's what it says. It's a blanket that you can eat with someone in that blanket. But it's important to note that it's not a picnic blanket. You're only going to be able to eat on the blanket with one other Sim. You can't have a proper picnic with more than 2 Sims. I thought it was cute, but the romantic blanket was very annoying, and we're going to discuss that when I talk about the gameplay issues. And in the end, I did not like the romantic blanket, and I don't think I'm going to be using it again. We have the costume trunk and the seductive dance. So with the costume trunk, I had a lot of fun with it. You can actually call Sims to get dressed, and if you call them to wear a costume, all the Sims in that lot are going to come and get changed. So I think that's cool, especially if you're going to make like a special type of lot, if you know what I mean. So that was interesting. I did not expect that to be a feature. I did not expect that to be there. And then you can ask your partner to wear a flirty costume. So to be able to do that, you have to achieve a certain level in your relationship to be able to ask your partner to do that. And then as you progress in your relationship, you can also ask them to do the seductive dance. With the seductive dance, you don't need music playing for it to happen. So I did test that, and my Sims could still do the seductive dance even when there was no music playing. And that was a bit weird. But I can understand that it could be a little bit hard to make that interaction only available when there was music playing, coding wise. I did like the dance. I think it was funny, and it's not as awkward as I thought it was going to be. Although when my Sims stopped playing, they still left the room and went to read a book, which was a bit of a bummer because it kind of like killed the mood. But anyway, that's The Sims. Now let's talk about the gameplay issues. So when I first started playing with Lovestruck, I chose the romantically reserved trait, and when I was playing, I'm being serious here, every like 10 minutes or every time that I tried to perform a romantic interaction, I was asked to change from romantically reserved to romantic, just because I performed one romantic interaction, and it was really annoying. I had to keep saying no to that, and it was really bothering me. So that was extremely annoying. So if you are romantically reserved, it's almost like you can't even perform any romantic interactions that you're going to be asked to change to romantic. And I thought that was really annoying, because being romantically reserved doesn't mean that you're never going to be romantic. So another thing that I thought was really annoying in The Sims 4 Lovestruck is all the new interactions and everything that they did with the pie menus. So now they created a new section just for relationships, and then you can ask some questions there. It was just really messy. I didn't know where the interactions were. I didn't know how to find them. I just literally kept clicking everywhere until I could find what I wanted. So that was extremely annoying. And to be honest with you, a lot of my time playing Sims 4 Lovestruck was trying to figure out where things were. Even after hours and even after playing it for a few days, I still got lost when it came to finding the interactions. So I really think that they should have thought that better, because it's really messy, it's really hard to find things, and you're going to waste a lot of time just trying to find the correct interaction. So another thing that I noticed that is really broken is the fact that NPCs can ask things now and they can propose and things like that. That is broken. It's a great idea, but it is not well performed, and it's broken, and it's really crazy. So after my sim started dating this other sim, on the first date, after like the first kiss, the other sim asked to become my partner. And so, okay, I said yes. And then after they woohooed for the first time, they asked me to move in. And soon after, they also proposed to me. So it was really crazy, and everything happened in like 2 sim hours. And I don't think they should work that way. It's definitely broken. So I hope they fix that. And while all of that was happening, the romantic dynamic was also going crazy, and it's also broken. So after the sim asked to become my partner, I said yes, and then they kissed, and then they woohooed for the first time, and straight after I got asked to if I wanted to change the dynamic to steamy. So I said yes, and then when the sim asked to move in with me, I said no, because it was literally their first date. And then as soon as I said no, I got asked to change from steamy to strained. And I said yes, just because I wanted to see what was going to happen. And then after, I just wanted to see if that was going to affect gameplay, and it didn't. I could still perform all actions, and then I just woohooed with them again, just because I wanted to test it. And they said yes, nothing happened, nothing changed. And straight after they woohooed, the game asked me to change again from strained to steamy. So it's all very broken, and they're conflicting with each other. Each system is conflicting with the other, and it was really messy, and it totally broke the immersion. It just looks very fake, and it's definitely broken. I am 100% sure that it's not supposed to work that way. I don't know if they're going to fix it, but I'm sure some amazing creator is going to fix that for us. But for now, it is broken. Another thing that annoyed me a lot is that I kept not following my sim's romantic boundaries, and nothing happened. So your romantic boundaries does not affect your gameplay specifically, like for your sim. I kept breaking all of my sim's romantic boundaries, and I was still able to do everything. Nothing happened, not even like a bad moodlet, nothing happened. So I thought that was a bit annoying, because if I chose romantic boundaries for my sims, I want them to affect the gameplay. Otherwise, what's the point? Another annoying thing is, I keep saying annoying, but what I mean is like broken thing. Another broken thing is the fear system of Lovestruck. So my sim was in a relationship with 2 different sims. So my sim was having 2 relationships at the same time. And while that was happening, my sim developed the fear of being alone. And to overcome that fear, my sim had to try and get into a relationship with someone and build a connection with someone. But my sim was literally in a romantic relationship with 2 different sims. And when my sim developed that fear, he was literally romantically interacting with both characters. So that did not make sense to me. I don't know what triggered that fear because it just didn't make sense with my gameplay. So in the end, what do I think? I don't think you should buy Lovestruck now because it's still very broken and you are not going to be able to play it as intended because it's so broken. Even Cupid's corner is broken. It's literally very messy and I don't think it's worth $40. First of all, there's not enough content for $40. There's not enough content to call it an expansion pack. In this video, I only talked about gameplay features, but if I was to talk about the world and the other things, it makes it even more apparent that it's not an expansion pack. It's a game pack, it's not an expansion pack. So you're going to be paying $40 for a small amount of content that is broken. I know it's harsh and I know it's almost like an unpopular opinion because everyone loves Lovestruck, but I don't think it's worth $40. I think that's the main problem here. I know that the trend now is to have smaller packs and to charge more for it. I made a video talking about the market and why this has been happening to The Sims. I'm going to link the video so you can see that and watch that. But I don't think that's an excuse to release broken content. There is no excuse for selling broken games. So I don't think it's worth $40. It's broken, the game is broken, and you're not going to be able to play it as intended. In fact, you're going to get really annoyed and it's going to make your gaming experience more annoying and worse. So at least now, I don't think it's worth you paying $40 for the game. Anyway, that's my experience playing The Sims 4 Lovestruck. I would love to know how was your experience, because maybe you didn't have such a bad experience as I had. So I would love to know what have been your experience like so far. And if you haven't bought Lovestruck yet, let me know if you are thinking of purchasing this game and what is motivating you to buy it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.